Hey, stamp friends, welcome to the Joy Stamping with Rachel. I'm Rachel Kuhn, and today I'm sharing with you episode 13 of the Scrapped series. This is a scrapbooking series between myself and three other friends that once a week we release a new video of different ways to do scrapbooking. I have a 6x8 method that I usually feature, and they usually do the traditional 12x12. For this month of July, our theme is to use a layout from the annual catalog. And let me use my handy dandy bookmark, and we'll get to where you can see the layouts. Layouts are what we can use to inspire us to make our pages. So on page 28 of the annual Stampin' UP catalog, you will see at the bottom here a couple of ideas of 12x12 scrapbook album. I, however, do a 6x8, so I'm going to use this one. Let's get closer so you can see this layout right here is what I'm using to copy, but making it into that smaller size. And I love this one mostly because it already was fitted to my size with all this extra white space on the 12x12. So this was an easy conversion for me for the size that I'm using. Let me go ahead and grab my album out. I've been working on the same one, which you'll see this often. And I can't wait to show you. If you missed the one that I made for the first episode, episode 1, I'll just give you a little recap of what this album's all about. So I use the basic black album. It's a 6x8. It's great because it has these variety pocket pages that you add to it, and they're pocket because they have these little slots that are measured out, so that way all you have to do is insert the photo that's cut to size, or I use these Memory Moores card packs that are 6x4 and 3x4. And that these ones are the Remember This Moment, but we have a handful of them. So use whatever we currently have to make your albums. But I'm loving this one. This one is more of the fall tones, which was perfect for the time of year that these photos were taken. And I've gone through and I've made just a handful of pages. This one's about my daughter who was on her mission for 18 months in Boston, Massachusetts. She just came back and I really wanted to have some scrapbooks ready for her. Well, I've printed out a lot of photos, but I have not finished a single album. So this is album number 1, where it talks about right before she left, and in fact, her at the airport. So today we are working on the page we're going to put right here between these two, and I have all of my extras on the very back here. If you saw my last episode, you saw my tip of how I like to store the photos, because if you're like me, you always are printing off more photos than you're actually going to use. And so I don't want to just get rid of those. They're still really good photos. They just didn't need to all be in this album. So I have created a cool little pocket on the back of this album, but just using double-sided Velcro and a old die case for me to attach here. All right, so I'm going to work on a page to finish in between these two, and it's going to be titled the Hugs and Love page for this one. And I'm going back to the front of the page as my inspiration, and I'm doing a full-on 6x8. Let me go ahead and get those pieces together, and I'll show you how this works out. All right. For this one, I am using some retired dies. They are called the Hand Letter Pros dies. And you can tell it's retired because I usually put a little piece of washi tape on it. Stampin' UP has amazing letter dies. Whenever they come out, collect them. And then store them and use them forever. No, just use them when you need them. But I totally recommend getting not 1, not 2, but as many as you possibly can of letter dies, because you never know what you're going to use. All right, so I've already cut out. This is our sleeve. It's shiny, so I took it out so we can use it on our cardstock. The 6 1/8 by 8 1/4. When I went to go measure this to make the 6x8, I noticed that it was too hard to put the whole thing in at a 6 1/4, so I just sliced off a little bit more. I want to make sure that slides in nicely. And when I did the 6x8, I got too much top space that I didn't like not being filled. So I just cut it a little bit closer so that way it fills up this whole page. All right, photos. I'm going to do this double-sided. So we're going to do this front side and the back side. And remember that layout has 3 photos in it. They also have some die cut things. I want to show you this guy because I already did the die cutting for it. And we'll do with page number 1 first. So for this one, what I went ahead and did is I did a little stamping. This was actually scrap I had left over from that first page I made that I just found with this collection. And I did some stamping on there. I don't know if I was practicing or what my logic was here, but I kept it. So I decided, hey, let me go ahead and die cut from these stamped images to create the word hugs. You can kind of see how we have a little stamping on there, which is a great way to give texture to something when it's sometimes hard to do on a scrapbook. I did go ahead and put on the back side our sticker sheet. So hopefully when I go to put this on, it'll be easy to remove and get going. All right. Also, I've done some die cutting of the Memories and More pages. So for that layout, it had a circle and it also had like a little banner. So I went ahead and I die cut from these little cards so that way they will match nicely for the whole album. I also took one of these in that layout. They also had some pieces for writing and I want to insert those so that way we can add the dates to this one. And I love that this one already had the lines on it because I was like, oh, I could just do some lines on the actual scrapbook page, but this is way nicer and neater. And I use the perennial postage dies to cut those out. Okay, let's go on to the photos because they are super cute and I love how they turned out. And I had this all laid out earlier, so I'm going to play with it again and hopefully I remember how I did it because I didn't want to finish it all. All right, so I have a hugging photo I'm going to put in this top left, and then we're going to do some overlapping with this layout. So this one actually is going to come out a little bit closer in right here. And what we do first is we want to lay things out before we add any adhesive to make sure that it's going to fit where we want it. And then there's this cute photo, and you can see I want some space between these two, so that way I'll just do a little shimmy up, and then I'm going to put this one further to the side. So they're not supposed to be lined up on any spots here according to the layout, which I kind of actually like that look anyway. So far that's kind of where I want to place my photos. This is at the airport, just in case you're like, what is going on here? This is when we were saying goodbye to her, and it has like the most genuine and like sweetest faces on these photos where she's all teared up and we're all crying and excited and sad at the same time. And then, before I even die cut these out, what I did was I actually grabbed the dies and put them on there because we don't want to waste paper, right? If this isn't going to fit, I need to find a different die set. So I went ahead and grabbed all the dies I was going to use, and this was for the banner, and I start just setting them on there before I even cut it out. So that way you guys can see how the layout is gonna look. So I have that circle here on this one, and I might do the trimming, but you know, I think we might actually do that trim on this side too, because I like it not centered. So that's good to know. We'll do some trimming here in a minute. And then for those hugs, I went ahead and I took the H and the U and facing them down so it's the actual right spelling. The G, and I was like, oh, I can't put the G over her face. So I knew that I had to raise it up a little bit then. So that way the G is not covering up important things. And then I need to scoot this one over a little bit too. Okay. And I'm going to angle the hugs so that way they'll fit. Let's find my S so I know how much more space I might need. And if it fits in there nicely, oh, nice. So this will give me a good idea of how I want this to be placed. Then I'm going to insert a little writing spot right down here where we can then write the date of which this flight was taken. And that's my layout for this one. Let me go ahead and assemble it and show you how we put it all together. So bear with me as we do that. We'll remove that. This is how the design comes together. And now we're going to start attaching. Grab a handy dandy pencil if you have one nearby. I had mine a second ago. Here we go. And you can just do some marking here. Lightly with pencil. So I know I'm gonna have this guy in this corner. And what I do is I will do corner marks to match it up that way. And I'll usually only will pick one corner mark. So I don't need to do like the whole outline. And then this guy down here, I went too far down, so I need to make sure I shimmy this one back on. I could trim this one, but I'm trying to keep them all the same size. So that one will be flush right there. There we go. And that one should be good. Okay. First photo we need to glue will be this top one while she's hugging her brother, Hudson. So we're going to remove these ones. I'm going to take my Stampin' Plus and put it on the back of this card, of this photo. And I usually do not go crazy with adhesive. I want to make sure it sticks, but I feel like it stays in place fairly well with that page protector that we use. And so I will just put enough to get it where it needs to be so that I can slide it in. All right, there's photo number 1. Photo number 2, she's hugging her sister goodbye. Again, I put a little bit of Stampin' Plus on each corner. Sometimes it gets stuck because this is a different type of paper. It's that glossy paper. So it's hard, so you just use your finger to help it go. There we go. And I do 2 or 3 strips of that. You'll see that the Stampin' Plus has sections on it. There you go, that little shine there. So that way it does as little as you need or more depending on how long you press down. Okay, using my guide again, my pencil guide right here. Nice. I'll place that down, having it overlap just a little bit. We'll grab this cute one. This one, I'll get closer so you can see it again. You see when I don't, there we go. Nice. This one's the 3 of us girls saying goodbye and giving our hugs. And you can totally see in the background the airport there. Oh man, I love it when the photos show and tell more of a story. And I'm having this one go all the way to this corner here. Like so. All right, looking good. So I could write down right now, but I don't love my handwriting, so I'm not going to write on this one. I will let her write on it later, but I will go ahead and just add it here. And that way she can write on it and put her nice little touch to it. The date. And then let's go ahead and do our circle. I did die cut it so that way it had 2 parts on it, but let's see what it's going to look like if I have the full circle on. I can kind of have it right there. Or I can go ahead and do the half coming off a little bit and trim it as well to have that circle shape here. Just to add an embellishment. I think we're gonna go this way with it. If that's the case, I only want adhesive on the half side of it because we're gonna remove the other half. And I'm putting it on a top of the photo that has no particular value to me. Don't ever do it on the face, but some of this background stuff I can cover up with some paper embellishments there. Then we also have this cute little banner here. Put a little bit of adhesive on it. We're gonna flip it over and put it where just below the photo. And this banner could be used also for some writing on it if you want, or just as a paper embellishment, which sometimes we forget that paper can be used to make something look nicer, and it doesn't have to be the rhinestones or the pearls. It can be something simple and flat like paper that will embellish our makings here. Okay, for this one, we're gonna do a couple things. We need to place it all out. Oh, and in just a second, we're gonna add our and sign too. Okay, so let's again lay this one out. Let's make sure our spacing is nice, that we don't have the G in anyone's faces, because those are important. HU. It's on her hair. We might slide that up just a little bit. There we go. There we go. On the photo, but not on face. Nice. Hugs. Let's go ahead and attach these now. I'm going to start with my H. And what I'm going to do is take my paper snips and I'm going to take off the backing here. I'll do a pull off. Oh, gently on that side. There we go. And let's place our hugs down. Nice. Same thing with our U. Sometimes that one I had a nice little space on it, so it was easy to separate. Let's see if my paper snips can grab this. There we go. Kind of like a tweezer now. I'm holding on to part of it without cutting it all the way through. Our U. And this is just a nice way to have no glue, because sometimes these little letters, it's tricky to have the glue on the back of them without it squishing out. So it's fun to make these stickers so there's adhesive coverage on the whole thing without making a whole big mess. If you only have liquid glue, it totally would work. Just do the dots instead of like an outline, and that will help have less overage. All right, so it's okay. We have some of the hugs on here on that photo. And this is the Cajun Craze, which is part of our first page. I'll go back to that first page so you can see how this ties in on the album. Well, of course, this one's gonna be the trickier one, huh? It's okay, we got it. Hugs. And fill in that space there. Super cute. I also have an and, because we're going to turn the page and we're going to continue this this layout on the flip side, which traditionally on the 12 by 12 you have it side by side, but because this one is that full on page and doesn't have individual pocket spots, I want to make sure that I had this whole space on the other side working for us too. All right, can I get it? There we go. The and sign, and oh, I think I do like it lower down here. Hugs, and let's flip it over. I'm gonna do a little paper cutting right here using that cardstock edge. Looking super cute, matching our layout that we're copying. And then we're gonna flip it over to the other side and finish off with the other photos I have. So I have 3 more. She's hugging her dad. I love this photo so much. It doesn't show her very well, but his whole hand like encompasses her head, and it's just that tender moment. So that was definitely had to be remembered. And then this one I love because we're side by side and just the cutest little thing together. And then her first, well, yeah, the oldest brother, she has a little brother and another brother who is 16 now. He was 14 in this photo, where he's taller than her already and he's just hugging her completely. Was a definite must to be on this album as well. All right. So now I have to remember, I'm going to do that same layout, and I'll use these photos to figure out which one needs to go where things can be overlapping and where things cannot be. Like, I want to make sure that I'm not covering anything of importance. All right, so this one looks pretty good. I could even put that part underneath it, but I think we're going to have... Ooh, maybe we'll put him over here. So play with your photos. And this one could be overlapping. And then creating those borders there. So overlap a little bit there. And then creating that space on the bottom so that we still have a little bit of that cardstock showing through, creating kind of like a framing to these images. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. What do you think? It's tricky because there's two of us here and it almost would look better. Well, we'll call it good. We like it. We like it. The father-daughter photo. Oh, I didn't use my pencil this time to outline. Let's see how well I can line this up without it. Okay. Let's come up, create a border. The nice thing about this being on the flip side, this one's supposed to go first. Let's see. Oh, and then that one I'm supposed to have overlapping. There we go. That looks better. We're okay. A little bit of Stampin' Still Plus, each corner, center. And I'm going to put this one down here so I know that one's going to go. I'm going to slide this one in. Okay. Place it down straight and nice. Press down. Cute, cute. So you can get away without having the guides if you know your layout well enough, and maybe use the photos as placements. There we go. Cute. Okay. A fun cluster collage of photos. Now let's add our paper embellishments. This was going to be another spot we can add. Now I'm debating, should I put this one up here this time? And then down here, I think I might have the letters for our next word. That will be my plan. So it'll be very similar. Let's flip it over so you can remember. We have hugs up here, a little writing spot down there. I'm going to add this guy up here now for a writing spot. And in the layout, it had two options. So it's kind of fun that we're doing both. I am not going to center it though, so it's going to come over further than that photo. I don't want anything to line up on this layout here. We'll take our stylish shape die cuts. That's that banner and that circle that we use. That's one of the smallest, but not the smallest. This is definitely the skinniest one. And we're going to add some of our extra details. Our paper embellishments. Put our banner right here. Add our little circle. Again, should we do the cut off a little bit? Yeah, so we don't have a full circle. We'll just put adhesive on the back of half. Looking nice. How it all coordinates and matches. And lastly, we just need to add our love. Hugs and love is what this one is going to be titled. I'll get those out. Okay. Again, line up your letters. Make sure they have the space that they need. My L, O, V, and E. Again, I don't like it being straight, so it's going to be at an angle, and that looks pretty good. This one, in fact, I think it fits without it having any photo that is covering over. Looks great. Okay, bear with me as I take off this again. I want to have it completely finished for our video today. Usually I will give you like tips and I don't finish it completely, so like I don't add the photos all the way, or I only do a little bit. This time we're going to do the full page. So just bear with me as we finish this one off. Look how nice and easy this is though. A little bit of patience to remove that backing, but totally worth it so we don't have a lot of adhesive mess. And the great thing about the sticker sheets is that you cut it down to size. They come kind of a bigger size, but if you know like, hey, I'm only using a 4x6 piece of paper, then I'm only going to cut and put behind what I need and not like have it be wasteful. Like this whole backing here, look at that. I even have a little bit extra that I totally could use, but that was pretty amazing. I used up a lot of that piece. I try not to waste in the paper world. In fact, this is scrapbooking, so we're using the scraps left over from my first page I made for this album. Save everything. One of my favorite photos that's on the page I have, I'll show you it again, was an actual photo I just took of a sign while we were at the airport. So sometimes it's not photos of people, but of the things that you see while you're there that I was like, oh, that's a tender moment, where we had to say goodbye, where it said ticketed passengers only beyond this point. Okay. Oh, look at that. This is looking so good. Let me get closer so you can kind of see. And then let's trim off that circle piece here too. Ooh, I could almost fold it over. That would be another cute layout idea. Okay, trimming off that side. And let's put that into our page, into our album. Okay, we're gonna just carefully guide it in to our page protector here. There we go. Making sure that nothing's gonna snag on either side as we, see, pressing down there. Okay, so when I do this, I'm lifting up on the top of where the page is, so it's not catching on all of these paper embellishments. And I'm just flipping over each time to make sure we're good, not getting caught up. See, that one got snagged, so I'm just gonna slowly bring it on through. There we go, lifting both sides. And let's add that to our album. Easy peasy. Oh, before we do that, first, I love this photo where I fussy cut it out instead of having it. It was just her standing alone, so it worked perfect. But let me show you that how this page goes along perfectly with our front page here. So we have the similar colors, we have the similar cardstock that we used, and the shapes of the letters. So that way this totally matches from the beginning of our story to the end of our story, right here. Okay. And there we go. It's been added in. I can switch it out depending if I want it there or not, but for the most part, it is ready to go with that fun loves and hug page. I hope you guys have learned something new and that you guys are excited to try this fairly simple style of scrapbooking. Like I said, it does all the work for you with these different types of page protectors. And these ones I haven't even glued in yet. I just have them placed in as a holder spot until I am happy with the way I want them to be. So it's really flexible. If you're like me and you debate where you want things to go, this is a good way to do it, so you can have a lot of freedom to play with it. But I hope you've enjoyed seeing how to make a layout inspired by the annual Stampin' Up! Catalog. If you don't have this catalog, please reach out to me. I would love to send you a copy for free. Just email me, and all those links will be down below. Be sure to tune in to next week to see our next scrap episode featuring another one of these layouts. I'm excited to see what my friends pick. And so they can inspire you to use the layouts to make your own Stampin' Up! Scrapbook pages. All right, you guys have a great day and happy stamping, everyone. Goodbye.